everybody? Destination Truth is back, and man, so much is happening. So much is happening. It's a wonderful and it's an awful time to be alive. Times are tough. Times are going to be even tougher. Things are looking terrible. I would say it's time to make a What's Wrong with the World episode 3, because there's a lot of shit wrong with the world. On the bright side, there's always a silver lining with cryptocurrencies, in my opinion. So anyone out there with a brain, this is the time for you to start exercising those brain muscles and get ahead in life. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into all the things that are wrong with the world. I want to start with the backlash on the NRA from the Florida shooting. So what's wrong with it is that, for one, the left is getting away with literally using the death of children to outright try to go circumvent our rights and get rid of our arms by destroying the NRA, which they obviously view as the primary opponent or adversary when it comes to gun legislation, because it has so much power. Sorry, I am out of focus. That is a little weird. You're gonna have to bear with me because I am on the road. Anyway, so they're trying to do that, right? And the problem I have is this. I have been calling for an outright boycott on the fake news outlets for a year now. A year. But nothing's happened. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because one, they get their funding primarily from leftist billionaires like George Soros or Bezos, Jeff Bezos, I like that. But yeah, so they get the majority of their funding from that. They actually will pay money to get people to watch them rather than get money, because they don't actually care. They're getting paid either way, guys. So, you know, let's just go ahead and take a Saul Alinsky approach and use that against them, and realize that they are willing to use any means necessary to win. So if you actually read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, he does say that. He says, you know, the ends justify the means, and use your opponent's laurels or morals or ethics or rules against them. Hold them up to those. So if they're going to use objective reality to call for an outright banning of the NRA, then we can use objective reality to fuck with them, okay? Why isn't anyone doing this? All right, so if we can prove factually that the welfare state has failed, created epidemic levels of fatherlessness, 77+% of blacks are being born out of wedlock, which obviously is going to lead to the same statistics based on single mothers, shows that a huge percentage are not likely to graduate from high school or find a career in criminality. That doesn't make much sense, a career in criminality, but nonetheless, what I mean to say, a better way of saying that is, they will find themselves in the penal system, criminal system. So objective reality is telling us that that's wrong, so that gives us a right to outright say the whole welfare system needs to be shut down. It's not working. If you want to get an abortion, you pay for it, or ask for charity from a church, maybe, or if it's from rape, okay, that's fine. Rape is a different situation, obviously. Obviously, there's such a thing as nuance or objective reality. I love whenever you come up with any response to objective reality that's something that scares them, they always use some random example, when obviously we're not saying that we don't care what the situation is. Everyone cares what the specifics are. Facts matter, okay? So, that all being said, I want to go back to me saying I wanted a boycott of the mainstream media, and no one's done anything about it, and that's very frustrating to me. So, if you want to know what I think every time that there is a fake news story that's proven to be fake or fictitious. Or for example, the time just this week, CNN basically scripted the questions for their own town hall meeting that they wanted to look like it was a grassroots meeting, but in reality it was basically a public shaming of anyone supporting gun rights. I mean, we need to be tougher, way tougher, because I do not care about feelings. So I am the guy who's willing to come out and say, yeah, you know what? Even if a shooting like this happened once or twice a year, maybe even 3 times a year, maybe even 12 times a year, those numbers are nothing compared to what communism has done in every country in which it has taken over. Maybe not Vietnam. We'll give Vietnam a pass on that, but on the other hand, Vietnam suffered larger casualties because of a war with the United States. So that's on the military-industrial complex. But Russia and China, yeah, they killed, what was it, like 500 million, 200 to 500 million people or something? Or no, I'm sorry. Glitch. Yeah, I might have to stop streaming. I'm forgetting the numbers, guys. Damn it. I wish I had call your friend. I'm forgetting the numbers. I've read a lot of text on communism in Russia in particular, not so much China, but I know that communism alone in Russia did in fact kill more people than all of World War II, including civilians. Okay, so that should terrify you. That being said, that's the point where I'm saying, I don't care what happens. You're not taking my guns away, because my guns aren't for hurting people. They're not even for hunting. They're for one thing: self-defense. And that includes defending myself against my freaking government. Because we know there's a lot of communists in power right now in the United States. They came over from the Frankfurt School in the 1940s. Okay, and they've been here spreading like a plague, like a virus. And we are suffering majorly because of it. Because their tactics, they don't care about people. They want control for the 0.01%. Communism never was a grassroots movement. People just need to understand this and realize that literally communism and socialism has always been a usurpation of power of the global elite class. We're not talking about the 1%. We're not. I know 2 people that are in the top 1%, and they're not in my family. But trust me, they're just people that have always, they're capitalistic, you know. But what we are talking about when we're talking about global elites like the Clintons or the Bushes, we're talking about the 0.001%. In fact, a statistic of 2010 still said something like 50% of the world's assets were still controlled by 1% of the population, or 40 human beings. 40 human beings. 40 people, 50% of the world's assets. Okay, those are the people we are talking about. They are the enemy, and they want more power. And I gotta say, the United States literally is the new Russia to China, as Russia was to us. Okay, because China is on our heels like moth to a flame. I don't have a good enough analogy for how close China is to really passing us up as the world superpower. It's going to take them another decade or 2 to do it peacefully. If they want to try to replace us in a peaceful manner, it's going to take time. Otherwise, it's going to take a huge war. And I don't want war. And thank God for Donald J. Trump, because if it weren't for him, if Hillary was in power, I feel pretty confident that we would be in closer to a hot war with Russia or China, just because Democrats, by and large, are warmongers. They're pro-race wars and slavery. Anyways, that all was just one topic that I wanted to talk about. I'm about to go into a tunnel, So I'm gonna save the stream now, and I'm gonna continue later, guys. I might even delete this and reshoot it. But yeah, if you're seeing this, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content of a level-headed person talking to some bros on the internet that understand that communism is basically pure evil, and literally the death of even 100 people a year, or 1,000 people a year, or 500,000 people a year, 500,000 people a year is the amount of people dying to communism. 500,000. That's communism. That's what dies when you have communism in power. When you just have pro-gun rights, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be crazies out there, but we need to have we need to replace the FBI, as we now know from all of the leaks we've gotten from WikiLeaks, as well as the Russian dossier, Fusion GPS. All of these things tell us that the FBI is it's unsavable. It needs to be replaced with something better, something less corrupted. I don't think it can be saved at this point. So replace that, and we will maybe have a chance at doing some good in the future, because the FBI was warned about this kid, Nicholas Cruz, in Florida. They were warned, but they didn't have enough time, I guess, is what they're saying. But you know, there's very few times that I will call for a new agency and say, yeah, okay, this is an opportunity that you could grow government in a good way, and this is it. I would say, okay, what about a very small agency, less than 100 people, like 2 people per state, maybe less, because I mean, let's face it, Rhode Island doesn't even need 1 person probably, but whoever's doing Massachusetts can cover that too. Anyways, I'm going into the tunnel. I'm probably going to lose you, but an administration for stopping mentally ill people from owning guns. So if someone that has already registered a firearm gets a firearm, then they go to that person and they take their firearms away. All right, guys, I got to sign off. I'm in a tunnel and I'm going to lose you.